Hello there, Salim Omar here from Straight Talk about Small Business Success podcast, bringing you another episode. We've got a special guest. He's the money guy. His name is Scott Jared. Scott, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I don't know if you're referred to as the money guy, but I'm going to quickly read your bio because you've got a pretty impressive bio. You're the best-selling author. You're a visionary founder and CEO of Invest. With a background as a personal CFO, you're a chief certified financial planner, CFP, and a certified exit planning advisor. Scott's dedicated to guiding clients towards financial freedom with unparalleled expertise. Under Scott's leadership, Invest has transcended conventional financial services, committed to creating the ultimate uncommon experience. So let's dive right in, Scott. You recently published a book called Accelerate. I'm curious, why accelerate? What does that mean? What was the meaning behind the reasoning behind that title?
Yeah. So Accelerate is all about living the life that you want. It's about how you can get there faster and actually have all the essentials that you need to really have the absolute best life possible. So the idea of the book, the big idea was that if you use simple principles, 6 key principles we identified, that you can reach financial freedom faster. And if you follow those and you get really clear and intentional with what that is, then you can have that. So the book looks like this. So you can see you're going straight up, live the life
Hmm.
that you want. And also we have the May limited edition book right now with the IndyCar that's there. And Jack Harvey is the IndyCar driver who we helped accelerate his career by helping him get in the driver's seat of the car to help his why come to life.
That's awesome. Exciting. Congrats, man.
Yeah. So the principles are real simple. It's like, what's your why? Do you have a why for money? It's more important than money itself. So think about your listeners and your people that are talking. Do they know why they do what they do? Why they get up every day? Are they in their state of mind where they are actually shooting for something that's bigger than themselves?
Hmm.
Does all
What
their
is what is a life's purpose?
What is it? What is it? And if you don't know what that is, if you don't have values around your money, you don't have values around the people you hang out with, then how are you knowing that, like for you being a CPA, how do we know what they want so you can do a really good job as their CPA or
Yeah.
their attorney or other people? So once they have a why, then the who's that are accountable to the why are super important because now they know like, oh, this is why you did the state plan this way. This is why your tax strategy should be this way. This is why you want to build wealth for a special needs child or whatever it may be. But if the who's aren't aligned with the why, you can have a lot of peace of mind and harmony that isn't there.
Yeah. The who comes after the why.
The why, then the who's are accountable to your why. And then you have
Mm,
a game board. Like it's how you weigh and measure your personal decisions. So how do you organize yourself, put things on a balance sheet so you can weigh and measure all your financial decisions you have. Most people are making decisions in a vacuum. They don't know, like if I buy a 15-year mortgage or a 30-year mortgage, which is the right way to do it? How do I invest in my business? Do I borrow? Do I use cash? How do I make financial decisions? How do I find the lost money that's leaking out of my life from taxes and unnecessary costs that could be put back in to create tangible, real wealth that'll be there for me, my family, and my legacy for a long period of time?
mm,
So if you have all the information, you got a clear why. Now we can have the people that are accountable to you, the who's, to really help you. And when those 3 things are aligned, now you've got peace of mind and harmony.
yeah. Yeah.
Those
Yeah. It's
three,
almost like, beginning with the end in mind, right? Start some, doing something, starting something, but knowing kind of what the vision is, which is what is it? What matters to you? What's your purpose?
right?
Why does this matter?
Yeah. So like here we are, you have all these business owners you support and you help, but yet we're out doing all day long, working, 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 working. Why are we doing it? Why are we doing this? When can we get to our B state? We're actually and like we're just here, we're moving in this right direction, but we know this is what our life's purpose is what we're shooting for. A lot of times we never have the time to even sit back and think about that because we're trained to be a CPA or trained to be an attorney. That's what our profession is, but we've never backed into like what we want from our personal self. So
Yeah.
personal and business, they're parallel paths, they're moving in this direction. But until the why is clear and get clear at the why of why the business is going this way and why the personal wants to go this way, it becomes very difficult for those 2 things to work and mesh together.
Yeah. What's give us some practical advice for a listener that's saying, "Man, I totally resonate with you. I've lost my why. It's been a busy, it's been a busy life,
Yeah.
juggling a career, juggling, the family, and I'm a little lost. What can somebody do to bring back their why?"
Well, the best thing is to read the book, Accelerate. It's a good book.
Okay.
In there you have your 5 U's. It's like these things that's how you're wired. And in the book, and then there's also another book we wrote called Future Hack. I mean, you get real, there's a whole why process, a why accelerator is what we call it. So you click on the QR code and it pulls it up. But you almost have to start envisioning what your life would be like if it was over. Like it's pretty painful to think that, but you're in your day, you're grinding, and a lot of times when people start to say, you know what, why am I doing all this? It's probably because you're feeling a lot of pain right now. And it's like, how much pain do you want to endure before you say, look, I need to make a change? And then you start asking yourself these questions. And it's really how well you can ask the right questions to help you get to the result. But a lot of times we don't know how to ask us the right questions. So we put a framework together to ask you the right questions of how to get to what you want. So
Yeah.
if your life was done, you're like, oh, that's a bad day. Okay. One of the questions would be, was your life of significance? Was all the things that you wanted to have happen? What would people say about you? Would it be true? Would it be there? Was like great father, great support system, great owner of a company, always gave back? Or they say worked too much, never was present, and never really cared about anyone but themselves. Like, which persona do you want to be? If it's the one that you wanted it to be, then what would it look like if I gave you the rest of your life to be able to have that happen? So now
Yeah.
what do you want to change? How do you get more clear on what your why is? And then what are your values as a human? And what is our core focus? And what are the things that we want to do? So now we can start to rein that in. And now you can start saying the no to things that don't fit that and yes to the things that do. And it could be a
Mm.
job change. It could be a business you want to start. It could be an employee you're struggling with. It all fits within that because it's now your soul that's now helping you become very present and aware of what's happening and making those accelerations throughout your life. It's how aware you are of what's happening and how you make your adaptation is what helps you be really good at being a family member, a business owner in every area, a professional in every area in your life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to shift gears a bit. I want to
Okay.
talk to us from being a business owner, or myself being a business owner, or the listeners being a business owner. One of the questions, that I had for you was, asking you 10 most important steps to success as a business owner. We don't have time for all 10, but give us like the most important ones, maybe the three or the five top ones.
Yeah. So the business there's three legs of the stool. So you have your personal, your business, and your professional. All three are equally important. If you're not working on all three and one falls down, the stool falls over.
So the three, what are the three again?
Three, your business,
Yeah.
your personal,
Yeah.
professional.
Okay.
Professional. They're all equally important. You got to be working on all three together. The biggest problem with business owners is they are so focused on the business, all their investments going into the business, but they never pay themselves. They never take care of themselves. They don't understand how to do that. So the business and personal alignment are going in the same direction, but yet one is being neglected. So in your
Mm.
finances, if you don't have an operating system for your family and your personal financial life, and you also should have one for your business, those are all moving in the right direction. But if you don't have those things, that's when you start to have things break down. How do we own them? Partnership issues, cash flow issues, issues at home, when those things aren't starting to work because you don't have that framework put in place. And like, well, Scott, where's the professional piece come in? Well, professional is how you become a better person, how you better leader, a better speaker, a better vision caster. And those are the things you got to get really good at too, because those are the frameworks that help you become a better family, better father, mother, a better owner, CEO, visionary of the company. All three of them are equal. And until you have ability to uncover and be aware of where you are in each one of those and make the adaptations to get better at it. Once you're fully aware of where you are and you adapt, that's how you accelerate your life. And that's what I find the biggest thing of business owners. They don't realize there's two current paths of your personal and your business, that there's three legs of the stool, that if one gets wobbly, everything else falls down.
I like that. So it's really being aware. It's recognizing that there are three legs to the stool, right?
Yeah.
And once we are aware, then start paying attention to the other two that get neglected. yeah, if a business owner is kind of paying attention and focusing on their business, but there's a chance the other two areas are not getting the attention that they deserve.
Yeah. So there's three kinds of thinking. You have linear thinking, where you're thinking in like if you think about linear growth, right? So it's 3 + 3 + 3 is linear. Then you got exponential thinking. So it's like so you think about like from MapQuest to Waze. Exponential is like, okay, how am I maneuvering through the tax laws changed or there's an economic impact or heck COVID hit or something. So then you've got your linear like, oh, life just goes smooth like this. Not really. Life is a bunch of pitfalls and things you're going through. So we have these two types of thinking. The next level of thinking is quantum thinking. And this is like you hear about quantum computing and all these other things. Well, quantum is like now I'm focused on a compass. I'm moving to my North Star. I'm going to Mars if you're Elon Musk, or I'm going, I'm going to make technology work for people if I'm Steve Jobs. So now you get this whole new level of thinking. And what it is like how aware am I in my current situation? And am I adapting to the next and the thing that's happening the most? So the most successful visionaries out there are the ones that are so self-aware, and then when things happen, they can make the adaptation faster and then they can accelerate. And those are the three kinds of thinking that absolutely will impact your success. And how do you get there faster?
Mm-hmm.
When you're thinking
Mm-hmm.
quantum, you're playing a different game. You're playing at a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm. How does one get to doing quantum? I mean, I'd say that most folks are in the. Would you say they're more linear?
Yeah. I would say they're human doings.
Yeah.
Have you ever been a human doer where you just work real hard, you grind it
Right.
out, and you get to that point? So you're like, I can always outwork it. I can work more hours. I can do that. The
Yeah.
people that have learned that they are not doing and they go to a B state where they're present, they're here, they feel it, they understand, and they're really self-aware. Like they're present in their family, they're present at their business, they're present at their employees, and now they've got the space to understand what's happening and then to adapt. When you're doing all the time and you're just grinding, 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 you never get
Yeah.
that clarity, you never get that mental break. And that's
Mm,
what we teach. And through Invest for Life is how do you go from a human doer to a human being? And that's when you start playing quantum. That's when the game changes for you.
mm. That's great. Yeah. Tell us more in terms of steps for a business owner to its success.
Steps. I think you need to pay yourself first. I think one of the biggest problems for business owners, they don't pay themselves first. They
Mm,
look at the business as their baby. It's the thing they started. It's the thing they fell in love with. And then they end up becoming a very low paid business person a
mm,
lot of times. And what they do is the money sits inside the business and it never comes back out to their personal side.
mm,
So when I meet with a business owner, I'm like, there's three things you must do first. You got to pay yourself first. You got to make sure you're organized. You have a personal balance sheet, a personal game board that you can weigh and measure decisions. So we created one through Invest. We call it your wealth builder, and it's building a financial game board so you can weigh and measure. So the business just becomes another asset on your balance sheet. You can come out, and that should have an operating system. Your personal life should have an operating system that runs the financial side there. But if you don't have these frameworks in place, if you don't have one, you probably should reach out to find someone that does. If you don't, Invest has one. And then the third thing is you got to protect yourself because life is all about the uncertainties and things that are happening. The only thing you can control are the things you can control. You can protect yourself from a liability, the way you own things, the right structure in advance. You can protect yourself from a lot of things that are happening. So that way, when things are out of your control, like a market condition or a customer dispute or something like that, you can navigate through those. So you can be aware, you can adapt, and you can make your move. But if you don't pay yourself first, have a strong balance sheet, and the wealthy sleep on healthy balance sheets, and third, you don't have protection, then someone else is going to play the game that you thought you could win. Excuse me.
mm. Talk to us. What's your point of view, your belief when it comes to should you invest or pay down debt?
It depends if you have good investments or bad investments. So there's two kinds of debts, good debt and bad debt. There's no other kinds of debt. Good debt, let's talk about bad debt. Bad debt is attached to a depreciating asset. You get no tax benefits for it, and it has high cost of interest. Good debt would be attached to an appreciating asset, has a low rate of return, has a low cost of interest, and it has tax benefits. It says the three things. So if I'm using debt to buy a new cash flow, if I'm using debt to create new enterprise value within my company, it's an investment. So the investment needs to work out. So if you take that, use good debt to do this investment and it's not giving a good ROI or something's going sideways on you, you don't have a way to oversee that and manage it and be really good steward of these hard assets, then it can be a really bad move. But that's what it is. So if you spend your entire life paying down all your debt, at the end, all you have is no debt and no cash flow.
Yeah.
So that's almost a losing mentality in some cases, because now what you've done is we've taken all I hear is people at work, people working hard to make the money to pay off all our liabilities but then we don't ever have money at work. So at some point we got to put money at work, because my debt's gone, but I have no income. So great, I can live this minimal life where I have no money either, but I also don't have any debt. But ideally, you want to get to the point where you have enough money coming in without you having to work, where money's working for you and it supports your lifestyle. So if your house has a mortgage on it and it supports that, then great, we've done a good job. But we pay off debt the right way. A lot of people out there saying, let's do things this way, let's do it this way. But what you got to do is you got to have a financial model, put the information on the model and weigh and measure what is the right thing. Understand there's two kinds of debts. Does that help you?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I want to circle back to what you said about paying yourself first. How can a business owner give us this advice to a business owner that has cash that's going up and down? It's got ebbs and flows with their cash. How do they pay themselves first when things are not going well in their business?
So there are uncertainties in the business. There's cash flows that are always moving in every way. If you took 15% of everything that you made and you set it aside in an account and you earn 7% on that account, in 30 years, you'll have enough money in that account that will, at 5%, would pay you exactly what your salary was. Example, if I make $1 million a year, typically, and I move 15% aside, $150,000 a year on a linear path, 7% over those next 30 years, I would have $20 million in account, $20 million at 5% and pay me the million. So now you're work optional. You've now accumulated up. So now that money then can replace what you were working before. So now my business is fluctuating. I could be in real estate sales. I could be in other things. I could have good months, bad months. But we still want to take the money that we were supposed to make and pay ourselves, set aside in this account. And if that business needs money because it's not performing right, then we need to loan it the money. It's now an investment that we're strategically making back into that company that now has a loan back to my personal self, because now I'm holding my business accountable to being successful. You got to make a strategic decision if I'm going to loan it back or keep it. But what you're doing is you're building wealth outside of your business, because what happens if the business has a lawsuit or something happens? Where's the money? Well, it's over here. Good luck getting to it if I have it protected. Those things. So now you're paying yourself the money that you deserve, that you've worked hard for. And then in the business isn't working, now you got to make a strategic decision. Do I want to put it over here or do I not? But it's not what we do typically. We just keep going and going and going and going. And then we're like, man, 30 years go by. It's like, what do I have to show for this business? And I go try to sell a business, and you find out you've been been chasing cash flow, not building enterprise value, and you have a business that's not worth what you think it's worth. And now you still got this $1 million income gap that you need, that you don't have the business value. So now what do? You work for the rest of your life and you're miserable and you hate your life. Just being a little aggressive. But anyway, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, like that very much. Looking at the clock, we are coming towards the end of this session. I want you to, if you don't mind sharing, folks, what's the best way for them to reach out to you? Or how can they get their hands on your book?
Yeah. So what you can do is you can go to accelerateadvantage.com. And on that website, you can sign up for our program, and we'll give you the copy of the book. We'll give you access to Wealth Builder, and we'll give you a limited edition t-shirt and all this stuff. So it's a great way to meet us and be able to go through this process. We also, on May 30th, we have a webinar at 2 p.m. on the Accelerate Advantage too, that you can join, and you can learn more about how you can live the life that you want, accelerate this quantum thinking, paying yourself first, all these great what I call little hacks. Hacks are simple solutions to your common problem that we wrote in the first book, but you'll get a lot of that stuff in there. So there's a lot of value packed in there that will help you get a lot more that you can't get really in 20 minutes with our great conversation today. And would love to have you on that.
Awesome. Great. Scott, is there like this one question that I should have asked you that I didn't?
One question. That's a good question. um, I, so why would you want to accelerate?
Hmm.
Why would one even care?
Yeah. What's the answer to that?
Because you deserve it.
Mm.
You all your whole life, maybe people are telling you didn't or you couldn't do it, but I'll tell you,
Mm.
you deserve to be rich. You deserve to be wealthy. You deserve to live the life that you want. You deserve it. And you
Yeah.
tell yourself that
Yeah.
and you should be able to do it faster and you should have more quality of life than ever. So that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. Yeah. And my response to that would be, why not?
And why not?
Why
What
not?
else you got?
Why not you? Why
Exactly.
not you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not? Why not? No one
Right.
that's a great way to put it. Why not?
Yeah. Scott, thank you, man. I really enjoyed this. Your point of view and the way you shared your perspective. It was very enlightening. So thank you. Really enjoyed it.
Appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
All right. You take care.
You too.
Bye bye.